One of the most difficult things about a golf swing is the interpretation of the swing. So for example, you have great golfers like Mo Norman that talk about these really abstract concepts where he feels like he's doing this coming into impact, and he feels like his hands are in his right back pocket. He feels like the club is going to hit his toe. That's what it feels like. To make a really good swing is kind of weird. This is why so many great players have a hard time describing what it's like to make a good swing. What I discovered with the swing that I teach is if I put a student in this position, I ask them to keep their weight still, the good swing is forced upon them. So then they get the feeling of what a good swing is without me having to describe it and them having to interpret it. Because when it comes down to it, the interpretations don't work. So many golf instructors are teaching an interpretation of the skill. They're trying to convey to you what it feels like for them. The tricky part is the greatest players that are talking about what it feels like are not instructors. So they don't know how to boil it down for the common man to be able to digest. Instead, Jack Nicklaus is describing what it's like to golf his way. Now that becomes difficult for the general public to be able to interpret. But if you can put yourself in a position that forces the good swing to occur, then the weird feelings start to happen for you without you having to try to interpret those weird feelings, which is so hard to do. It's what so many of you are trying to do through traditional golf instruction. So when it comes down to it, making a good golf swing feels weird. Well, instead of going off of the feelings that are weird, how about look for the source? You see, what feels weird is the movements for the hands and the arms. That's the effect. Look for the cause. What's the cause that allows the hands and arms to do what it is that they do during a dynamic golf swing? And what I discovered was simply this: a good setup position where your body is closed, so you're engaging your lead side, and a focus on keeping your weight still will allow you to let the geometry of your anatomy create the good swing, and then you get to reverse engineer the feelings, where you no longer have to interpret it, you get to feel it as it's happening. And then once you experience it, it's not too hard to just continue that. As much as you might see this setup position and say this setup position is weird, well, it's this weird setup that's going to allow you to experience all the weird feelings that great golfers experience during the swing that are so difficult for the average golfer to try to interpret. So I get here, I'm going to keep my weight still, and let's just see what happens. That felt effortless. It felt like I didn't do anything. It felt simple. It felt repeatable. It felt a little weird, but it felt great. So just know this: a good golf swing, the experience of it is a little bit weird and it's a little bit odd. And it's really hard to repeat those weird or odd movements. But if you can find a setup position and a focus on stillness that causes all those movements to occur, then it won't feel so weird anymore. It'll just feel great to hit really good shots and understand a simple way to be able to do it.